Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Tech with Sukant. Today we have Sunny. He is currently serving as SVP at INDmoney. All of us know what INDmoney is and what a great product that is, both from the product as well as from the engineering perspective. Uh, Welcome, Sunny, to our podcast today, and thank you so much. So, guys, we started 8 in the morning today. So, thank you so much for taking time and doing this at 8 in the morning. Really appreciate. Uh, would be great if you can share a few lines about yourself, and then we do a deep dive about your journey, and we'll talk more around uh, how IND money has been built and the tech facets around it.
Great. So, hi guys. So um, I'm a software engineer and I continue to be.
Mm-hmm.
I started my journey with building embedded softwares. So with embedded software, the interesting part is you need to build out everything from the scratch. That means operating system. You only get a board, hardware.
Okay.
Then you need to uh, tweak Linux kernel,
Hmm.
write Linux kernel drivers, so that you can make use of that particular board so that something runs.
You're right.
Then, because the hardware is 200 megahertz and 32 MB RAM, what we need to do is you need to write everything from scratch, including the windowing system. If you are building your own video player, audio player, everything you need to do from the scratch, like write lots of code in the assembly and C++.
Got it.
So the way it works is people start writing in C++ with lots of best practices on what we need to do in C++ and what are the features of C++ that we cannot use. And then we build the applications again. The libraries that we use for our application, they are written by us only from the scratch. So for example, the computer graphics stuff
Mm-hmm.
that we study in college, for example, drawing circle. So if you are seeing a circular or rectangle thing in those embedded devices, then it's actually built by the developer himself.
Mm-hmm.
So like we almost never use any libraries. Everything is from the scratch. So that's how I started my journey
Got it.
and built lots of embedded products in my first company. And then I got one more project, which was, can we have browser, fully functioning browser? I'm talking about 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Fully functioning browser on 200 megahertz CPU and 32 MB RAM. And then I started going deep into WebKit.
Okay.
So WebKit is this Google Chrome engine,
Right.
and I had to tweak and tune it to make it function on the small device.
Mm-hmm.
But while doing that, what I understood is that WebKit is 220 lakh lines of code, 2 million lines
Very
of
heavy.
code, and almost no critical issues any of us would have observed when we browse internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like throw any input to it, any buggy website, any buggy JavaScript, and it continues to function.
Correct. Right.
And it's open source, so many people contribute to it.
Right.
So I became very fascinated with it, that how can we build code where anyone on internet is contributing,
And make it so stable.
and it still continues to be stable.
Right.
No one can tamper with it. And see, this is how I have built my career. I became fascinated with this, and then I quit my job. And so I quit my job first, and then I started looking for companies which are working only and only on WebKit, because I wanted to now contribute to WebKit and only understand how they manage to build such a stable system.
Got it.
So then I found a company in Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
They were working with Sony Japan,
Acha.
and they were building a browser for TV.
Hmm.
But that browser was BML browser.
Okay.
So BML is superset of HTML. So the job was to change WebKit in and out and make it compatible with BML. So convert WebKit from HTML browser to BML browser.
Right.
So the way BML browser works is, let's say Barack Obama is playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So then if you press info button, you get full-fledged page where you can see Barack Obama's records on basketball. You can read more about basketball. So that's how BML works. The beauty is this web page is getting passed. It's coming via satellite only. So satellite broadcasts this web pages as well continuously. And you need to do in real time deduplication of the packets and so on.
Got it.
So to build this, I had to understand WebKit, and I managed to basically understand WebKit in 11 months time. And then there were only 2 WebKit consultants in our country at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, so, and by the way, I was the second one. So there was the one guy who was very busy. So then I started my company. And as soon as I started my company, I mean, we got a very decent project from General Motors Cars through Bosch to build their entire car infotainment uh, Play Store,
Got
App
it.
Store. So anyone can build applications, but then on top of the engine that we would build.
Correct, right. So basically building an operating system for these guys.
Yeah, so that we worked on in my company. So that was the next part. Then I became very fascinated with the data.
Why did you move out of, or why did you, is that company still operational, the one that you
No, so
founded?
we shut it, and
Acha.
we shut
Reason?
it, and we made decent money.
But reason why did you shut it? If you guys were doing such amazing cutting edge tech, working at such a huge scale, what led to that?
What led to that was because, see, one thing is I was 25 at that time, and I didn't know how to sell. I at the time I only understood how to build stuff. I knew nothing about people management.
Got it. So whatever business was coming organically, is it?
Yeah, it was all organic. When we started the company, the night before we had the contract done with Bosch.
Okay.
So they reached out to us, and that's how it worked, because there were no engineers in our country who knew how WebKit works. And in general, there are very few engineers even today who understands how WebKit works.
Right, I agree. Totally agree.
But when that project was done, we didn't know how to get one more project. So rather than going into that loop, we thought, okay, we have made decent money. Let's shut it. And then I was interested in data engineering and data science.
Okay.
So yeah,
This was which year?
This was 2014.
Okay.
So big data, kind of Hadoop, and those things kind of became big things. So
Right.
I understood Hadoop and moved from embedded softwares, which is very small
Yeah.
processors, to Hadoop, and where we are working on several computers,
Right.
massively distributed systems. It was a good learning curve. I joined a company called Tiny Owl, built data platform and data related products over there. Then I joined as a head of data engineering and data science at GoIPO
Yeah.
in 2016, and then we built several very interesting products over there.
Around data itself? वहाँ पे भी?
Around data.
Got it.
So we built data platform, and then we built several data science products, which required us to build several machine learning algorithms from the scratch.
Okay.
For example, all the discounts that you see on GoIPO, especially around 2017 to 2017-18 to 2020, by the time when I was there, I don't know what happened after that, but all the discounts were all through algorithm. No one knew on which hotel for which date what discount would appear. Our machine would decide, our algorithm would decide it, but then it would give significantly higher business compared to, let's say, human, and we did all those things.
Correct.
We did A/B of human versus algorithm, and algorithm significantly outperformed human.
Right, and I think it's not even possible at that scale You need a very huge operations team to drive that kind of offers and campaigns and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And then you move to INDmoney
So
as.
then this COVID happened,
Mhm.
and basically I got an opportunity to contribute to Arogya Setu and build Arogya Setu.
Mhm.
So I worked on it, but then working on my full-time job was very difficult along with Arogya Setu. So I
Mm.
quit
Okay.
my job so that I can contribute full-time to Arogya Setu.
Acha.
Yeah, and then once the Arogya Setu handover was done to our government,
Mhm.
then I
So Arogya Setu was your personal project, or was it when you were at INDmoney?
no. So when we were the GoIBO CTO and vice president, so CTO Vikalp Sahani and then vice president Rahul, they wanted to build this,
Acha.
and then they asked some of the GoIBO's developers to
Hmm.
contribute, and that's how it happened.
Got it.
And we had great support from Make My Trip leadership team as well.
You guys didn't make any money out of it.
We didn't make any money out
It
of
was a pro bono kind of a work, is it?
it. No, we just wanted to contribute, right? We want
Right.
all our idea is, see, we love our country. If let's say tomorrow any fight will happen, then we are like, we'll definitely leave everything and fight the war. So that's why we wanted to contribute.
Got it. Then why did you move out of Go IBBO and move
Arogya Setu.
Arogya Setu?
Yeah.
Acha.
And then then basically, I joined INDmoney. I see GoIBO. Ashish Kashyap, who is the founder of INDmoney,
Right.
he was also the founder of GoIBO.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's how.
yeah. So he reached out to me. I started first consulting there, and then he asked me to join full time, and then I thought it's a great offer, so I did it.
Great. So, after building Arogya Setu, handing it over to the government, you moved to INDmoney, and it was a very early stage, right? So, few engineers, things were still kind of figuring out how to build the entire architecture, tech, and everything. How was that journey, and how did you navigate around building from zero to building a team of 120 folks that is there at INDmoney as of now? So, how did you think? What were the challenges, and how did you think that came into the picture?
I think it was very organic. So when I joined, I understood that we need to build a team.
Mm-hmm.
So I built my immediate team,
Okay.
the people who report to me. I know all of them now for more than 7 to 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then they built their own teams,
Got it.
mostly through referrals. And in some cases, the interview process that we have is at that time, and even now to a certain extent, if someone is referring someone very strongly, there are no interviews for it. We just
Acha.
trust the person who is referring.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And when it comes to individual hirings, the process that we follow is that the leader, the tech lead, he needs to say that I am very comfortable with hiring this person. So tech lead will take hours and hours of interview. He will spend hours and hours with the candidate.
Got
And
it.
he needs to confirm that I am very comfortable with the candidate. And if I get that strong yes, in my interview discussion, I ensure that I'm not asking anything technical.
Only cultural.
I ensure that I'm almost not doing anything in the interview. I just try to basically, if I see really big red flags, then only he gets rejected, which hasn't happened yet. So that has been our culture, culture of complete trust.
Got it. Nice. And so, okay, this is one aspect to it. But like you said, most of the folks are coming via referrals. So we have seen that crazy market dynamics post COVID when hiring engineers was literally a pain. So at some point of time, you also have to balance the speed because you have to deliver products as well, right? So how did you manage that? Because the market was super competitive in terms of hiring engineers, and people were getting offers left, right, center from everywhere, 2x, 3x of what they're getting right now. So was that something a challenge, or is that you guys face any problem around that?
See, one thing is we do not believe in user experience.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we only believe in skill,
Mm-hmm.
and if the skill is there, then we are like we need to hire the if the skill is right, then we need to hire that person at any cost,
Got it.
and combine that with almost no interviews for referrals, so there will be no friction.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when someone knows someone, for example, so the comp negotiation also in our case, the referral will only do.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So that means, I mean, it never affected our PNL
Mm-hmm.
in any bad way, because the referral will always ensure that he is bringing that person at reasonable cost. Because otherwise, what will happen is the referrer would know that if he will bring the other person at significantly higher cost,
Mm-hmm.
and because that person will join his team, he'll have to justify the cost.
Correct. Right.
And if cost is disproportionate, then it's very hard to justify.
Mm-hmm.
So people took right call.
Got it. So mostly everyone is referral.
Mostly everyone is referral, and then the folks that we hired, um, we ensure that we are only hiring 10x talent,
Mm-hmm.
and those guys are still with us. And what I lots of people tell me that when we hire, if we are hiring, let's say for an integration project,
Mm-hmm.
hire low quality talent,
Correct. Right.
because it's just going to be some API calls and some reconciliation jobs and some SQS consumer.
Correct. Correct. Right.
But what I believe is that that particular person for the next 5 years will not just work on that project.
Right.
He'll probably
It'll step
contribute
up.
to at least 5 to 6 or 7 other projects.
Mm-hmm.
He'll eventually be tech lead and engineering manager and director in this
Mm-hmm.
organization.
Mm-hmm.
So why not only and only have talented folks?
Mm-hmm.
So that has been our policy, and it has worked.
And how do you, ensure growth or career progression for everyone? So for instance, right, so if you have so many folks, your attrition is almost, is amazing. So people who have been there for 5 years, 6 years, they'll eventually step up at to a leadership position.
Yeah.
But you'll have a certain constraint at that point, right? You'll only have certain amount of roles at each level. So how do you ensure
So
career progression?
fortunately, we never had those problems.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because like when I joined,
You guys have been growing
we
consistently.
had so whatever number of users we had more than so we had around 40 times less users at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So we have been growing and growing and growing in terms of products as well. Like for example, we built US stocks engine. Our mutual fund engine is now very reliable. We built NPS. All the tracking now we support EPF, NPS,
Right.
PPF, Indian stocks tracking across brokers, mutual fund tracking, and so we kept on building products. We built Indian stocks broker as well.
Mm-hmm.
We are the only ones in our country to offer instant insurance. We are the only ones in our country to offer instant remittance for US stocks. When it comes to Indian stocks, the content that you see, for example, any stock would go up. Why it went up, immediately you will be able to see in the app.
Got it.
So there are we kept on building new products and new features.
Mm-hmm.
That means there were lot requirements for lots and lots of leads.
So sometimes what happens, that let's say you are building a new product, you need to hire a lead or an engineering manager for that role. So and you have someone internally, you think that this person will be ready for that leadership role in next 6 months or a year down the line, but you need to fill that role right now. So what is your preference? You typically wait for that amount of time, or you put more effort from your side for that person to grow and step up as a leader or you hire externally?
No, so we have never hired the leaders externally. All
Acha.
of them. So people just stepped up.
Not even through referrals?
Mm, Through referrals, we would have hired, but
Okay.
then they would not just come in and become a lead of an existing team.
Okay. Got it.
Mostly, so we have almost never hired leads.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, from outside,
That's.
and especially if there is someone who can step up,
Mm-hmm.
then we avoid it at any cost.
Too much of you make your front end as dumb as possible and get things driven most on as a configuration or from the back end.
So on the synergy side, I believe it's very important that entire organization is going in one direction. If organization wants to achieve
Mm-hmm.
something, then each and every developer in the organization should only work towards it. The way we achieve is through OKRs, quarterly OKRs.
Okay.
So each team
And
gets
these
their
are
own.
review. These are quarterly reviews as well, or OKR reviews happens on a
OKRs are
different cadence.
numbers. OKRs are pure numbers, so no reviews
No.
are required.
Okay. Okay. So this is just a blueprint for them to they know what needs to be done or what is the North Star that needs to be looked at on a quarterly basis. Is
And there
it?
is a variable pay. So
Okay.
all of us have either 10 or 20% variable pay
Based on the OKRs.
based on the OKRs. So if OKRs are achieved, then we get 100% of the variable pay.
Mm-hmm.
If we overachieve, then we can get up to 200% of the variable pay. So people have the opportunity is to make 120% of the salary
Hmm.
because 20% is the variable pay.
Right.
So either if we do not achieve anything, it can be 80% or it
Hmm.
can be 120%.
Got it. Right, but still, so OKR reviews are also very important, right? So what organizations orgs typically do is they define or lay down an OKR, and then they have that bi-weekly or a monthly review of those OKRs because OKR also changes. It's not something that you just define it and it stays as is.
We rarely change our quarterly OKRs. So they are well thought through stuff, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just 3 months. So I believe that it's easy for most of the leaders if they think through it
Mm-hmm.
really well. Then it's easy for them to create at least decent quarterly plan,
Mm-hmm.
which they are not required to change.
Okay.
See, we are not very small company, right? We are mid-sized company now.
Mm-hmm.
So now we know exactly what needs to be done. Our
Right.
market fit, we know that our product market fit is done.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have is a concept called product reviews,
Mm-hmm.
and in product reviews we definitely look at OKRs,
Right.
but then we look at several other things as well.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this bi-weekly reviews are happening, but what I believe is even if this bi-weekly reviews are not happening, even if we do
Mm-hmm.
not conduct any of those reviews, still I am very sure that team will achieve
They
their
are looking at it
OKRs.
since it's part of the DNA.
Yeah, because the way, see, what we do, humans do, is
Mm-hmm.
what we are incentivized to do,
Correct. No, that is true.
and we what we do not do is what we are not incentivized to do. So with
Mm.
OKR, the thing is that everyone works very hard to achieve their OKRs, and they become obsessed around OKRs, and they
Mm-hmm.
only function, they whatever work you will give them, they will ask this question that, okay, how will it help me achieve my OKR?
Hmm.
So even if, let's say, some task is coming from, let's say, me, which I feel would be very, would be an amazing thing, then the ask would be that, okay, can you please put this in our OKR?
Hmm.
Because then entire tech and product. So that's how we ensure the tech and product uh, camaraderie as well.
Right.
Because both of them are incentivized to do the same thing.
And who defines the OKRs?
OKRs are defined by the team
Hmm.
and they get approval from us. We do give
Understood.
inputs, but most of the times this uh, so see, there are tech OKRs.
Hmm.
So there are some centralized OKRs which are common for across all the teams.
Right.
The tech OKRs are P99 should be less than, so latency should be less than 200 milliseconds. And we have centralized common dashboards where basically all this data comes. So our
Right.
PI team, which is one of the best, they have built this dashboard where everyone can see, including product guys, that for my pod, what's the P99 latency?
Mm-hmm.
If it is greater than 200, they will miss their OKRs. If it is less than 200, they will not miss their OKRs.
Got it.
So even product manager is now incentivized
Mm-hmm.
to ensure that APIs are not latent.
Correct.
He will never come up with a feature which would lead to high latency backend APIs.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other OKR is 5xx errors, which should be less than 0.01%. One more OKR is P zeros should be less than 2 per quarter. And then there is one more OKR on the slow queries. So no database should have slow queries.
Got
These
it.
are the tech OKRs. Then each team will have for their product certain OKRs. What we ensure that these OKRs are done in such a way
Mm-hmm.
so that whatever organization wants to achieve, everyone is only focused on that.
Right.
For example, if organization wants to ensure that we are getting more and more investors, new investors,
Mm-hmm.
then each team will only focus on, mutual fund team will focus on getting new investors, NPS team will focus on getting new investors, US stocks, Indian stocks, their North Star metric for the entire quarter will become new investors.
Got it.
That means they will build, they will build product features to for CVS zero users, which means new to investment. They will build features for folks who are already investing on other apps for advanced investors and try to convert them.